we're now going to open the line for our Q&A session with Mag1 Products. The ticker symbol is MGPRF here in the U.S. on the OTC markets. And with us today, we have Chairman Nelson Scabbania. Welcome, Nelson.
Good morning.
Our first question, can you talk a little bit about your sales and marketing strategy going forward?
Well, we don't have any sales or marketing needs at the moment until we're in production. So, first of all, we're in the magnesium business or related business, and why magnesium? Because we think the use of magnesium for metals and cars, for wall boards, for batteries are going to increase. So that's why one of the reasons we're in the business. And secondly, why in Quebec? Because we have free ore, basically free ore that's tailings mined already sitting on the ground, and our plant was adjoining it with the cheapest electricity in North America, on rail, on road, on services, large labor force, and more importantly, it's 50 miles to the largest user in America, the U.S., and with there's no countervailing duty at the moment between the U.S. and Canada with NAFTA, whereas the Chinese that produce 85% of the magnesium in the world have to pay about a 50% duty to get into the U.S. So that's a big edge. But the two biggest assets that we have are game-changing technology developed by the team in Oak Ridge Laboratories in the U.S., headed by this Dr. Blanco. That's number one thing. And we own the technology. We didn't lease it or pay a royalty. We own it outright, but they only get something when we make net dollars. And secondly, the modular concept, instead of $1.2 billion, $1.3 billion to put, which was the cost of the last magnesium plant, we're under the, our first module is like $25 million to build a 5,000-ton a year magnesium plant. And but our products are, first of all, we're a magnesium wallboard assembly plant. That's the first business that'll be, we hope will be open by May of this year. There's 30 billion square feet of wallboard in the U.S. and Canada combined each year. So if we make 30 million square feet as opposed to 30 billion square feet, that's barely less than 1% of what the market is. The second one is making magnesium oxide, high-quality magnesium oxide, which is 1,000 uses. But half that magnesium oxide is then used to make the magnesium metal per se, which is our flagship product. And then lastly, we have acquired the magnesium air battery technology that we spent 15 years and about $15 million to develop, and we are now trying to commercialize it in some fashion, and we have some prototypes been built. So, and that's a quick nutshell of why we're in the business and where we're in the business. And then finally, what our capital needs are over the next 4 months, 5 months, is about 6 months is about $40 million, but over the next 90 days is about $5 million for two main reasons: the assembly plant, the wallboard assembly plant, and we are building a pilot plant. We initially were not going to build a pilot plant. We had retained SNC-Lavalin, a huge engineering company here in Montreal, to peer review our process. And they said, hey, you guys, you got 22% magnesium in the ore, but you also got 18% silicon, 5% iron, and some commercial nickel. I think you guys should do a little pilot plant first to utilize the entire ore. So then at the same time, we'd approached a few companies like Magna and Tesla for an offtake agreement, and they all came back and said, hey, do a little pilot plant and see so we can see the quality of your products. And then finally, the Quebec government comes along and says, hey, you guys should build a pilot plant, and we'll put up half the money. So we took a step backwards in the metal business. We have a pilot plant underway, under construction, to do exactly what we're doing. There's no pilot plant required for the magnesium wallboard. That's a simple one. That'll be underway. So that, in a few seconds summary, is where we are and why we are. Any questions?
Very good. Thank you, Nelson. That was very, 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 very helpful. You're talking about you mentioned the magnesium wallboards a few times in that. Can you talk a little bit about what's different between the magnesium wallboard versus what people are using today, and how that's going to could disrupt the market, and why people would actually prefer to use the wallboards?
If you can get under the current new building codes, both in Canada and in the United States, the current major use of the external wallboard is gyprock. And it's about an 8 to 9 process. Like you had a 10-story building, you pull up the gyprock, and then you put the insulation one side, then you put the foam. They do all kinds of steps. There's about 8 or 9 steps, 10 floors or 30 floors up in the air. So it's the end result is expensive and time-consuming. The magnesium wallboard is a much better product, and a cheaper product in the end run. So if you have a better and a cheaper product, then the market is wide open. So the magnesium wallboards don't burn, don't rot, no insects will attack it. Also can be used structurally. So with those advantages, but the overpowering one is cheaper and a better product. That's a simplistic way I can say it. If you go to our website, mag1products.com, and you'll see a few descriptions of the magboard product. As I mentioned, the wallboard business is a huge business. Only the Chinese make 100% of the magnesium wallboard as we speak. That market will increase substantially in North America, and it's underway as we speak.
Very good. Thank you, Nelson. And you mentioned earlier about the modular nature of the production plant. Can you expand a little bit more on that and how you're able to do it that way versus competitors are doing at this multi-billion-dollar plants?
The last plant physically built in North America, spent $1.2 billion, completed the plant in Quebec by Noranda, a very large mining company. It worked for about a year and a half. They shut it down, and the Chinese come along, paid $25 million, and moved the entire plant to China. The two processes to make magnesium are electrolytic, which is the one that was used in Noranda, and the other one is the thermal or pigeon process, which is what the Chinese basically use, where they burn a lot of coal and pollute the world, and it's one of the reasons there's countervailing duty on their product. Ours is a variation. It's a variation of thermal, where it is compartmentalized and modularized, and it's for 5,000 tons a year, and it's a cookie cutter. So then we just build another module if we need 5,000. So to hit our target of 100,000 tons of magnesium metal a year, it's 20 modules. So each one is these things. It's quite a unique module. Combined with the game-changing technology is the best that I can say, and the simplest I can say over the air.
Sure, very good. Nelson, I guess you cover a lot of great information here. I think you've probably already sort of answered this and some of the other questions. But for investors that are sort of new to the story, I mean, what's the key takeaway? Why should they? I mean, you put a lot of effort into where to get to here today. But why should they be interested in the company today and maybe not wait 6 months or a year? What's the ability to be interested today?
What can I say other than the main two functions is if you don't believe magnesium is going to be used dramatically in the next little while. For example, the 90 million cars or vehicles produced each year annually. The average weight of magnesium in each car today is about 4 pounds. It should be about 300 pounds. You know, if a car that's 15% lighter, it's 10% less fuel required. And especially useful, especially beneficial for the electric cars that they'll go a lot further with a much lighter car. So, that's one use. Second, then the wallboard business, and then the battery business. I believe magnesium is going to replace lithium in some degree in the near future, as Toyota has already done a very large experimental plant working quite successfully. So there's reasons chemically and physically why magnesium is better than lithium. So I think the use is going to go up. So if you believe that, if you go from 4 pounds to 300 pounds in a car and you multiply the figures, you'll see that it's a dramatic rise. So secondly, if we can get the price of magnesium below the price of aluminum, that's a game changer. You don't have to worry about selling it. Aluminum is around $1,700 a ton, so our target is $1,400 a ton, and it's 40% lighter than aluminum. It's 75% lighter than steel. So you can see the distinct advantages.
Absolutely. Sounds like a great position to be in. For our viewers that want to learn more about Mag One products, you can find additional information right here at redchip.com. You can also sign up for news alerts. So when the company announces further milestone achievements, you can be one of the first to find out about those. And you can do that again right here at redchip.com.